The SICKEREST Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the SICKEREST Podcast. You already know who it is. Your day before. It's T.
It's your boy Mayor. It's Luke.
And it's Bryant.
You know, we got a real special guest in the building. You know, reached over 1,000 points in her collegiate career, over 500 boards, not 5,000. That's at what?
She was going crazy.
We got the champion, you know, Brittnee Perry, Tech alumni. How you feeling, sis?
I'm good. Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Boy.
Yeah, this is my favorite episode just because it's my sister. They don't know. We talked about family episode. I said, my motivation.
Episode 3, fam.
All right.
Yeah,
See? You see him looking like coach and player.
Assistant, shooting coach. That was good though. I'm gonna save y'all for. I know just about everything. Not everything, but I know y'all got the good questions to ask. I'm gonna save it for y'all.
I'm gonna start off with I know you're a Tech alumni.
Yeah.
I believe your coach is David Sardo.
Yeah.
He was also my track coach, and I helped with the girls basketball team as well.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We did pretty well. But how was your time with Coach Sardo?
Well, actually, when I got to Tech, I wasn't really. I didn't start playing basketball till 8th grade, so I was a late bloomer. Once I got to Tech, I was really into track, so I was running track for him, and then I took basketball a little bit more seriously after. I want to say at the end of my freshman year, he invited me to varsity. So actually, when I was on JV, I had a different coach. I couldn't even tell you his name. He was, like a biology teacher or something. He just decided to
Going crazy.
But once I got to varsity, I love Sardo. He took me in as like his own kid. He made sure like I was good in every aspect of life, from school, basketball, and he taught me like the whole he guided me to getting into my college career. So he helped with that too.
What's up?
What you have? What 2,000, right?
2001.
2,000 points.
For what?
No, I'm just playing. That was 1,000.
No, actually, high school. High school. I didn't reach 1,000 points. I think I was probably short 50 and some change, roughly around there. Like I said, basketball wasn't my first love. It was track. Right. So once I got serious with playing basketball and I took it serious, I started advancing in different parts, such as the offensive part, defensive part. I couldn't dribble to save my life. I could shoot, but I couldn't do all of the other stuff that I could now and when I got to college. So
flexing crazy. So was you 100, 200 runner in track?
I did the 100 meter dash, 400 relay. I also did high jump. I was a really good high jumper. I made it to sectionals, but once I got to sectionals, that was a whole different ballgame. Yeah. Right. So, I was good with the local parts. I was killing locally, but when I got out there, no, that was seating almost like 6 feet. That ain't me.
Yeah, that's great.
So like you said, track was your first love and all of that stuff. So like, just like basketball, like a passion. Like, damn, like I really love it.
I would have to say into my sophomore year. Matter of fact, the ending of my sophomore year, I ended up getting recruited by an AAU team, Baseline Elite. At that time, and I didn't even know about travel basketball either because I wasn't there with it. But once I got recruited there and I noticed that I could play at different levels, and actually when I started progressing, I'm like, oh shoot, I could really be good. I could really go somewhere with this. So I'll say my sophomore year.
Right. So like, how was the AAU experience? Because I know like they go on these AAU tournaments and they meet like actual, like they play against like actual WNBA or NBA stars that you don't even like know about yet. These be like 5-star recruits. So like, how was that AAU experience for you?
Well, just like you said, you go and you meet a whole bunch of people. I mean, I traveled to Kentucky, I traveled to New Jersey, and at that point, I really wasn't, going to places like that. So when I would go to Florida, or it was new to me. But I actually played against a girl who played at UB, Sierra Dillard. She's younger than me, but I didn't think that she would be, where she is today. She ended up getting drafted to the WNBA, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Minnesota Lynx, or she had to try out. But now she's playing overseas. So, going to AAU, you meet a whole bunch of people that you just be like, wow, I played against her. And she was nice even then. Like, she was bigger than me, and I was the older one. So, you meet a lot of good people in AAU.
I know from basketball you was able to travel a lot. I know you went overseas, played overseas. How was that?
Well, that all came about after my college career. I ended up going to Cologne, Germany to try out for, to play overseas. And that was pretty cool because actually I was the only Division III athlete I was playing against, girls that went to Louisville University, UConn. So I was already like, I was the underdog. It was real. Like, it was even a girl, I can't remember her name, but she was from London. And you think of other girls from like other countries, like, oh, she's just, she's London. We're gonna play over in London. She was nice. She had the handle. She dropped two girls. She was she was saucing them up. So overseas was a different experience too, as well. Just meeting people from all over the world. It's the United States, London, and Germany. That's where we were at. Russians. I think. In spring, I didn't even think that was.
Just water?
I thought it was just water. Right? No. Yeah, it was cool. It was real cool.
Yeah, and I know. Just coming up, that was you wanted to go overseas opposed to going to the WNBA.
Yeah, I was realistic with myself. I wasn't the one to reach for a goal. Not saying that I couldn't go to the WNBA, but me being realistic with myself. And where I came from, that was my goal, to go overseas. So, I attempted. And as the tryout was going on, I did get an offer after the tryout, but it wasn't worth it. Getting $500 a month, I could make that at McDonald's in a week. So, so I mean, that's like, I love it, but I didn't, love it to where I'm going to settle just to say, hey, I'm playing for a team. Like, what's the point? If you're gonna play to make something out of it. I didn't think $500 making anything
a month
out of it.
That was your first time out of the country?
Yeah.
So how was that experience? Like, first time out of the country
by myself?
Yeah, people you don't
nervous.
know.
I was nervous. Like, on the plane for 14 hours. First of all, I had a layover. I flew into Turkey, and then I had to get back on another plane to go to Germany. That took like a good 2 and some change. But it was a long travel by myself. I mean, it's scary. You don't have nobody to really, hold your hand. It's like, you got to figure this out by yourself, which I did. But yeah, it was definitely a great learning experience.
I know two coaches, Sardo, Rocco.
Mm-hmm.
I know Rocco was your dog, as far as going overseas and mentoring you. If you had to choose between one or the other, who would you choose?
That's so not fair, but
I know. That's why I'm asking.
It's tough questions on here.
And why? Because I know you love them both. You had to choose. Go to one for maybe advice or an opportunity even. Why would you put one opposed to the other?
That is so, like I said, it's so not fair. But I would have to say Rocco, not just because she's my fave, but because she is my favorite. Rocco has a lot of experience when it came to basketball, and Sardo was more track. He probably, he might admit that he was for track, but we all knew he was more of a track head than he was basketball. When basketball came around, he cared for it. He did what he needed to do so far as getting us to college and whatnot. But we knew track was his passion. So far as Rocco, basketball was her passion. That was her life, her love. She played overseas. She played at UP as well. Now she's coaching at Canisius as an assistant basketball coach. So, just being with somebody who knows what it takes to get to certain places. You just have a different outlook on them. Not all of us are though, but you guys understand what I'm saying.
Definitely. Did you model your coaching style after any of those coaches?
Did I? Probably Rocco. Me being really understanding to a lot of situations. I think that was just me in general. Like me coming from, I don't want to see the but
where we come from?
Where we come from, where we come from, and majority of the players that I have now, since I coach, I know where they come from. I understand it. I get it. So yeah, I would say I had to take some stuff from Rocco. I took some from the coaches at Buff State, Madai, and I put it into one, and then tweaked it myself to what I like.
Yeah. What was the hardest part? Because I know you transitioned from Madai and then you went to Buff State. What inspired that transition? First, I asked you that.
What inspired that transition? I would have to say not being scared. Before I got to Madai, I actually was recruited by Buff State, and the reason why I didn't go to Buff State is because I thought Buff State was too big. And like walking around that campus, I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. There's too many people here. I went to the classroom. Classroom had like 100+ seats in it, and I'm used to 30 people. Not saying that I'm slow. Can I say that?
No, you said it.
You said it already. So
That's PG, bro.
I'm not great.
Well, all right.
I'm not saying that, but it's just I was used to that. So going to Madai, I was used to the small classrooms, the small environment, and I was just nervous to go somewhere bigger. That was even for UB too. Like that stopped me as well going to UB. They got 2 different campuses. But transitioning over, I actually got out of that fear of being around a lot of people because I thought it stumped my growth the more that I was scared of something. So I got out of it.
So being a student athlete, was it hard in class, maintaining sports and work?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Sometimes you have practice at 6 a.m. So for me, I stayed on dorm my first year at Madai. So it was kind of good. But my second year, my sophomore year, I didn't. So I commuted. So we had 6 a.m. practices. I would have to get up super early to hop on the bus, train, whatever I had to do to make sure that I got there. Sometimes I would stay with my teammates, but I'm a homebody. I like to be in my own comfort zone, like really being up on people and in a space. I like to be in my own space. But besides that, the practice and having like a test every week or quiz or homework due for every class every week, and then having a game, then practice again, and it became a lot. It's basketball, being a student athlete is stressful. And I think some people don't understand that because they don't understand, being in this situation. If they've never been there, they probably think like, oh no, student athletes just get all of the attention and all of a sudden, no, it's a lot of work that you got to put into, especially being a Division III athlete. I'll give it to the Division I athletes because they do have the tools and the resources, such as a Division III athlete. We got to do what we can to make sure, it work out in our favor.
So how you manage it?
How did I manage?
School, yeah.
I just did it.
You just grind it. Suck that shit up.
None of your business, alright?
Right.
Ain't no strategy. Suck that shit up,
man.
I mean, it would be certain classes like I was great in math. I sucked at history. I sucked at like any global classes because I just wasn't interested in it. I sucked at English. I hate writing essays. So sometimes I would go to my advisor to change my schedule, remove a class from that, and then have me take a different class. I would go about it that way. Or sometimes I would procrastinate and do stuff at the last minute and get like a D and just be like, okay, well, I'm good with a D. I mean, I passed.
Like, you get degrees.
Right. I'm good. I passed. So, I get to move on. And that worked for me. Yeah. That worked for me. Some people, it don't work for them. Like, they'll probably just never go to class. Me, as long as I went to class, I know that's like 50% of my grade. I understand the numbers. So if I go to class, I'm good. If I don't, now I'm putting myself behind. The work will make up, I'll make up the work for me just showing up to.
But
True. You ever have any doubt, like coming up, knowing where you, like you said, where you come from, just here, being in a local market to the point where you don't got as much exposure, or even if you balling your heart out, which you did, your chances might not be as much as somebody else supposed to in a bigger basketball market.
Yeah, I definitely had doubts. I'm not going to say any names, but I mean, we mentioned them earlier. But yeah, I had, a coach explain to me that I couldn't go to Damon. And I'm like, Damon? Like, how you going to tell me that I can't go to Damon?
It's around the corner.
Right, it's around the corner. Like, you're trying to tell me, like, I'm not good enough? Knowing that, not to toot my own horn, I was the best basketball player, for Buffalo Public Schools during my time. So to hear a coach tell you, like, let's not look at that, let's just focus on this, it kind of made me, I doubted that. Like, dang, I'm not good enough. Because then to say that I couldn't go try out for UP or go get recruited by UP, because that was a goal of mine. I did want to go D1. I wanted to get my scholarship paid for. I didn't want to have to come out of pocket or have my, parents come out of pocket for anything. I wanted to be, on a scholarship, not paying for my education. But yeah, I had my doubts. Especially being in Buffalo Public Schools. It's different. You go to a school like Kenmore or Williamsville East or Clarence or Lancaster. Their athletics is a different ballgame than Buffalo Public Schools.
They live for it.
Yeah, yeah.
I was gonna bring that up too. I think just in Buffalo Public Schools, like the athletic programs, a lot of the coaches, they keep it a little too realistic. Like, they don't let the kids even dream a little.
Right.
Like, we understand that you don't want people to get, crushed when they think they're going to go D1 and they don't make it. But you got to let people at least try and strive for that. Sometimes they cut you down too early. Like, oh, let's just try and get you D3. It's like...
And just get you here and looking at the... And that's where I am with my coaching too. I mean, of course, any player that I have, I want to keep them for the long term. But if they do have that opportunity to go to a Division I program, why not? I mean, because that also gives, give our stuff, some publicity and whatnot, because we are an upcoming program. So I would never limit my players. Do I keep it real with them? Yeah. Like, do you have to do the work to make sure you get there? Yeah. But if I see that you're this type of player and that you say you want to do it, but you don't do it, then, I mean, that's who you are.
Right.
A loser.
That's on you. That's on you. Like she said earlier, the Buffalo Public Schools, the varsity coach or the coaches be fucking teachers and shit. Yeah, teachers and shit. I mean, I don't be knowing shit like, Bryant, for example, they football coach ain't no shit.
Yeah. I think it's like a third grade teacher, like Ivy Austin or something.
They don't even be knowing about the actual sport they teach. Come on.
Yeah.
We got a lot of talent in the city, but unfortunately, Buffalo Public Schools is underfunded. Not just in sports, but even education. It's sickening.
Yeah.
It is.
And like, we got a lot of teachers that cut kids short. They dreams. Like, now you striving for D3 opposed to striving for D1
school.
My whole thing is, if you trying to get to D1 and you working to get to D1, you know what I mean? The chances you getting to D3 is exponentially higher than if you just working to get to D3.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you setting yourself low already. If you reaching for D1 and you working that hard, you know what I mean? To fall to D3 is going to be disappointing to you, but you work that hard so you got there. But if you just, because you got that in the back of your mind, oh, I only got to get to D3. Now you're not working as hard as you should. Now you might not even make D3.
Right.
That's growth mindset versus fixed mindset. That's what it comes down to. And you should always try to have a growth mindset. And quote of the day. Number one. I'm on it.
I know you was a part of the grand opening House of Hoops that's in, the Galleria Mall. We were sponsored by Nike, and I know we had Prom Dukes out for the photo shoot. And how was that treatment? Because I know we from the inner city, you don't get a lot of those opportunities. They acknowledge you as one of the best out of like 4 girls, right?
Yeah,
5 girls.
I was nervous.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. I was nervous because I've never been on the stage to talk about, my basketball experience or where I came from, or even been acknowledged to being a game changer for, our city. So that was very big for me and a great accomplishment to be able to be named as a game changer.
I know you travel a lot with Coach Sess too.
Hmm.
Much love to Coach Sess. Yeah, how was that experience with that? Because I know you had the original AAU basketball team, but then you would
Right.
get that mentorship or that coach, or I don't know what your relationship was, but she took you under her wing. I'm sure showed you ins and outs of certain things, took you to different places.
Yes, that's my girl. She's the founder of the Girls Sports Foundation, been around for years, and what she does, have no choice but to love it. Especially here in Buffalo, the talent for female athletes in general, I feel like just watching the years ago, it just seemed like it's been a decrease. I've been to a couple games where the games are just terrible, and you can't even see at the end of the game. It's like the score is still like what 20, probably 7.
Yeah.
But what Seth does is she try to get girls to embrace that, to want to play basketball or want to play soccer or want to play any sport that it is, and at the same time she wants to build up their confidence. So her empowering women is always going to be great for me, and I love what she does. And she continues to do it every year, and she loves it. So that's great too. Doing something that you love is awesome.
Simple as that.
You can't say no better than that.
Just said it.
It's awesome. I ain't never.
It's awesome.
That's awesome.
This is my sister. I never heard her say awesome a day in my life.
You know how cool
That's how you know it's
something
great.
awesome.
It's awesome.
It is.
But it is for real, because I think it is harder for women to get behind sports than men, and I think
Absolutely.
It is. We
that's
see it in the
kinda
WNBA almost
Yeah,
all the time. Like, it's lately, since this whole quarantine pandemic happened, I've been watching more WNBA games. And that's because it's never been publicized on TV.
Right.
So, I mean, we being realistic with women's sports too, it's not that many people have a like or desire to watch it as they the NBA. So that kind of put females at a, back as well. Like, hey, well, nobody's watching us. Or you go to a college game for women's and it's just like, half of the stands is filled up. Go to a men's game. The whole arena is packed. But yeah.
And the pay is horrible too.
Terrible.
It's terrible.
And it's crazy. They be talented as hell. Like, they be really like some of them are better than the men. Like, that be the crazy part. Like, as far as like handles, like it just be like fundamentally, they just be like so.
The hustle and the fundamentals is always there. Always there.
Always.
And women naturally is just more passionate, so it's more aggressive. Like women, they'll fight for that ball for real. Cause you ain't about to just let no other lady. So they it's entertaining.
I think that might be a marketing thing too.
Yeah.
It is.
Just because I know I watch a lot of UFC, and as women fighting in the UFC, the fights do just as well as men fights be.
Right.
Sometimes better. Those are my favorite fights.
Yeah.
And that's because, like you said, they are just naturally more passionate, naturally more hardworking in general.
Yeah.
But they just, like you said, the marketing is going to keep the WNBA where it's at, because they're not going to spend the time to market it to get people interested into watching it.
Right.
Because that costs money. You know how it goes.
Yeah. And what started your coaching career though? I know, like you said, you went overseas, you played basketball, and you young, only 26.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what started your coaching career, and what was like the moment for you that was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do? Because like I said, you're 26, super young, you can still play if you wanted to.
If I wanted to.
But that's a major like realization and a major like acceptance in yourself, wanting to play basketball, wanting to do all that, but just knowing, being real with yourself, and choosing coaching.
Well, pretty much after I got back and I explained to y'all, the $500 a month, that's not it. So I just had to, be real and say, I'm gonna hang it up. Because I also ended up getting pregnant with my daughter. She's, 3 years old now. And at that time, I had my support system telling me, you don't got to hang your dreams up. You don't have to do that. But for me personally, I thought it would be selfish to, bring my daughter in this world and, still go about my dreams and having someone else, take care of her.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was okay. So that was a personal decision. So I decided to, step back and, the opportunities were open. I actually coached while I was pregnant for Cardinal O'Hara for their JV basketball team. I helped a little bit with the varsity as well, but I pretty much was the assistant coach under Kyrie Carter. Also, I believe he coached football at Cardinal O'Hara too, if I'm not mistaken. So I started there and did a little bit with Tapestry. They had an AAU team, and I would help out around as much as I can. After I had my daughter, mom, and then did that.
Yeah.
Still, at that time, I was working at Gloria J as a teacher's assistant. So I was still, in sports and whatnot, getting my kids taken care of. And then the opportunity for Bryant and Stratton opened up. I know Coach Brown, Damone Brown, he had his first year, I want to say year 2018-19 year was their first season. And they had the opportunity to bring the women's basketball team on. So I said, hey, well, let me go ahead and, throw this resume in here, see where this goes. And, of course, I know Damone Brown. And so it was kind of also like a networking thing to get my foot in the door. Right. So I thought it would be a great thing to, instead of me playing, how about I just, give back, just like, people gave to me. And one led to another. I'm now the head women's basketball coach.
Yeah, and I forgot to say that in the intro. This is the first, not only women coach, but first African American, first black female coach in Bryant Stratton history.
Say that shit again.
Yeah.
Say that louder. Put emphasis on that.
The very first, not only women's coach in Bryant Stratton college history, first African American coach.
That sounds
That shit
good.
I got a ring to it.
You were part of history.
Right.
I know it seems minuscule,
It
but like,
It's really something crazy.
It is. It goes down.
Gotta have a statue. Like this.
Now, if they do that, that's crazy.
Not even in
You
the
gonna deserve it.
So
History, for real, that's crazy. History, it's gonna be there forever. Remember
right.
forever.
right.
That's what I want to hear about. I want to hear about your outside, your rec yard. In the city. Your Delaware, your
dog.
I want to hear the dog
Delaware.
stories. Come on,
Not how bad.
Oh man, I'm very humble.
Shit.
That means she was doing y'all crazy.
he got a story.
I got one.
You
Like
got
I said, this before. Like, I ain't know her. I knew you. We was in high school.
Yeah.
I knew you. But I knew that was your sister. We had Delaware. It was her. It was some dark skinned chick. Like, was her Megan? Dark skin.
She's not Megan. She's not dark skinned.
She brown. It might have been summer, so she
It
might.
was in summer.
She might be a little
She
bit
was
crazy.
definitely.
Yeah, she got a little crazy.
Listen, somebody.
Little
It was
brown.
darker than something. All I know is I'm like, yo, it's tearing me up. Like, I'm like, let's get you. I'm like, yo, nah, this can't be happening. I'm like, I'm somewhere nice. I'm like, all right, let me strap her up for real. I don't like playing girls for real. Strap her up. I'm like, nah, this can't be happening. She wrestling with rebounds. She jumping with me damn near. I'm like, nah. She was busting my she was busting my ass. Like, that's the first time I actually admitted somebody busting my ass.
Yeah.
There's like nothing I can do about it because it's like, damn,
Oh,
I'm trying. Like, I'm trying.
He had like 5 different stereotypes and that that one story.
But that's how it really be though.
Damn. They're like, yeah, that's the T. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, her. I'm like, I can't forget a face on.
Yeah.
That's your sister? Nah.
Your sister was cooking me.
And you going like this?
Yeah.
That can't be your sister.
That can't be your sister.
Some mean truth.
But yeah, that's that. But realistically though, that's the mindset of a lot of coming that park atmosphere.
yeah.
With all the guys, you already the underdog because you a lady.
Lady, and you get some guys who, like you said, they just, like, nah, she out here, she got to play like that. Like, it ain't no shorts.
Right.
And then you got some guys that be like, no, be easy on her. I don't like that.
Yeah.
If I'm out here, treat me like I'm you.
I'm out here.
I'm out here. I'm out here for a reason. And that helped along the way too, playing with guys and playing in the backyards, playing at different parks, because you got like get to see different parts of the game. Dealing with just fundamentals, you get the street ball, so that makes you play, tougher when you get out there. You're more stronger. I am grabbing the rebounds. I'm going for that 500 boards. I'm going to the basket. So it became a little bit easier playing against guys when I go play on the court.
And you was a center. I remember at Tech for some games at 5'6".
Oh, yeah.
You don't understand when you throw the over 500 boards. It's different when you put it in perspective. 5'6".
5'6",
like you said, that girl that went to UB, she was like 6'5". She was
6'5". Which one?
One of them. I know. I remember the one. Your whole team. I'll never forget. Her whole team was scared. Yo, like I never forget this. Not just because it's my sister and I'm bigging her up. Whole team scared. She, over 6 foot. It ain't too many people in the inner city like that anyway. They scared to check her, but swear she didn't back down. She going for them boards. It don't matter.
That's what I will say that about myself. I will pick myself on that. I'm not scared to check anyone. I'm not scared to go out for a challenge.
To this day.
I can't. Like, it's just not in my DNA.
It's not in your DNA, no.
Right.
It can't be. That's how you get. That's what people don't understand. That's how you get embarrassed worse.
Yeah.
If you because if I'm not trying and you cross me,
right
now it's bad.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I'm not gonna. If you get crossed, it's okay. You get dunked on, it's okay. I mean,
yeah, you had to be playing defense to get crossed or to get dunked. You was doing what you was doing.
Right, and that's okay. You get hit. I mean, especially some of the great ball handlers. I've been crossed up too at Delaware Park. That's where my first getting crossed up happened. And it was bad, like real bad. Like probably had me come out my shoes, but I mean,
everybody been crossed at Delaware.
It gets like that. But if you doing your job, you recover and forget that game.
If they miss, you good.
Right.
you gotta pray they miss.
Right.
If it's that bad, it's like
the highlight is ruined.
And they might miss at Delaware.
Oh,
that's the craziest part.
Mm-hmm.
And you blame it on the court, like, oh yeah, ain't no grip. Y'all know.
I brought the wrong shoes out.
Yeah, I got my indoor shoes. We outside.
Right.
They don't work too good.
Yeah, both we got some ballers, man. We got some ballers in life. And shit.
We do. We have a lot of ballers. It's just what we were talking about earlier. It's just about getting with the right people. Everybody get with a different crowd and start to, maneuver a different way, or they lose interest in, going to the league. We have a lot of players here that could have possibly went to the league. And, life takes over. The streets take over. So, that's life.
Yeah.
And that's what
that's what said I used to go, but then I'm like,
nah, they never.
Hold on, let me.
What did you say?
Came down one. They threw me an alley, right?
Oh yeah.
Came down my left. I should have came down my right.
They do you have
The MCL?
Yeah.
The MCL? Damn.
In the ACL. Man.
Okay.
Damn. That's a year off.
Then the PCL.
Not the PC.
Then a WL.
Double XL freshman cover.
It's crazy.
You tore everything.
But how was the recruit process? I know you put a lot of people from the inner city. Some even I recognize that you played with them.
Yeah.
Like, so how was that start the recruiting process, getting your team together? Because I know you handled with it yourself.
Just a lot of girls the girls that were here locally that you said I played against. It's just, the respect level was there because we are on the, I'm probably a few years older than them.
Right.
Seeing someone as your coach that you used to play with, you would think, well, why would I have to respect her? But the respect is there, and I think that also gave me an advantage for my recruiting, getting the local talent. But I wanted to recruit from everywhere. I went to Louisiana. I went to Florida. I went to Pennsylvania, New York City. It wasn't just going to stop me at New York. So, them seeing me, young, black, African-American coach, you get a lot of players that say, hey, I want to play for someone like that. Usually if you see a lot of, players or a lot of coaches here, right now we only have, including myself, 3 African-American women coaches. Coach Jack at UB and Coach Price at ECC Community College. So when you actually see someone that looks like you, it kind of, give them a different outlook.
And a comfort level.
Yeah, and a comfort. So I think that also helped with the recruiting. But recruiting went well. It went really well.
Yeah. And what was your record first season?
22-7.
22-7. First out the gate.
22-7. It should have been 29-0.
Yeah.
I always talk to my team about that because I blame them for it. I also blame myself. But there were those 7 games that we shouldn't have lost. It ain't no that.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's the standard you got to hold your team to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we striving for 29-0.
Right. First season, we set the bar high. We set the bar really high. First season, I didn't expect to come out as strong as I did. But now, since I know where we are, we got to go higher. It's only up from here. Don't go back lower.
Can't. Did COVID have any effect on? I know it had an effect on the season before. Mm-hmm. Like your first season, what y'all supposed to go to the tournament, right?
No, we made it to the tournament. Right. Made it to the Final Four. We won our first game, and after our second game, they canceled it like right on the spot. Sitting in the bleachers, came on the microphone. Everybody got to go home. What?
Like why?
Why we got to go home now? We here now. We're here with COVID in.
We sweating. It's gonna be gone.
We not stopping yet, but we were all disappointed. So COVID did cut us short because we were one step away from making it to the championship. And that would have been huge.
Yeah.
First year championship off rip. But yeah, it limited some things. So I guess were you asking about recruiting or how did that affect?
Just the effect of COVID, your person.
Yeah, you can't see nobody in person anymore. You can't go to the games or you got to see it all on film. And then you got some kids that'll give you film, them playing basketball in the backyard. And we're doing a little workout.
You know how raw you got to look in your own backyard? I could get some film in my backyard.
So just watching film and just word of mouth, that kind of, I think, limited a lot of coaches because you have to go by what you see on film. And it's different when you see them in person. You get to know what you're dealing with. So that probably I would say that was the only disadvantage we had. But other than that, I had majority of my team returning, so I didn't really have to like that.
Mm-hmm. So you got high expectations? I know you got high expectations,
mm-hmm.
but how's the pressure? You feeling pressure? Your team feeling pressure? Reaching that goal because y'all had, like you said, a high first season.
Yeah. They, everybody. I think we actually played Buff State. Was that our first? No, that wasn't our first game. But we had a tournament at Buff State. Now going back, I think they thought that we were gonna, be trash, and that they probably thought they were going to beat us. Mm-hmm. We ended up winning the whole tournament at Buff State. So I think a lot of teams that we played this past season kind of looked down on us because we were a first upcoming program. But now it's like, all right, well, now we know what we're dealing with. So now we got to come with some heat.
Yeah.
So, and hopefully they do, because we got some heat.
Yeah.
Right.
Coming to play. Right.
So y'all better strap up, man. You better lace it. Bring your best people. I got my best. I got my crew.
Yeah, I'm all right with mine.
Yeah, that's a fact. Is any challenges though? Being so young, I know you still got it. You ever be challenged like, yo, I'm about to go out there and I'm about to.
In that practice.
Yeah, if they ain't showing you enough, nah.
Like, what you mean challenges? Like
if they playing too much, if they ain't listening, behaving themselves.
It is no challenges. It's
you coaching. That is what it is.
I'm coaching. That's what it is. I am the head coach.
Mm-hmm.
I've been tested a couple times. I mean, I think all coaches get tested, and I think that's when you got to bring them back to reality. In which I do that a lot. They'll probably tell you themselves if they could, but that's just basketball. You get tested as a coach, as a player.
Yeah.
Then you gotta do them real quick.
Yeah. Oh no, they get on the baseline.
Not the baseline.
Suicide. And we don't just do suicides. It depends on how bad it is.
Mm-hmm.
She got different.
And we running the whole practice.
Yeah. You got them the old tricks I know from your basketball days.
They listen crazy.
They listen.
I'm like,
Sis not playing. It sound like you a trick.
I am. I mean, I have my fun time with them. It's a time and place for everything. But when it comes to practice, we got 2 hours. We're here to take care of business. So after that, we can do whatever we want to do. But in this 2 hours, and when it's game time, don't show up. Don't show up looking doodle, or don't show up
None of that shit.
Don't come with none of that.
Yeah, leave that shit at home. Coach Carter over
Don't
there.
walk through this door unless you giving your all, giving your best. Or else you gonna be running a suicide.
Something.
You're not feeling right, stay at home.
Right.
Don't even show up.
Yeah, don't even like. I'm here. I'm here to do my job.
I'm here.
I know. What's your little favorite coaching lines? What's some ones that you pull out all the time? You know, you got some go-to lines for
Yeah,
them?
you got
Every coach
Every coach got some go-to
Like
lines.
I'm here. I don't know about y'all, but I'm here. I came to do my job.
Yeah, I still have my job at the end of the day. Y'all won't have y'all spots at the end of the day. That's the line that I'll go to.
Yeah.
That's the realest line to get. That's the realest to get right there.
Serious one.
That's serious.
I can carry.
I can
on the chat.
Like, wait, is this my last practice?
Yeah, now you're thinking.
Am I cut?
I was trying.
Looking at the rest of the team. Y'all know something I don't know? Like,
She talking about me.
no, you wild. Like, it's you.
Yeah, she definitely told me.
Yeah, it gotta be.
You not coming back.
Yeah. So it's a high ceiling for your team, and you know, years down the line, would you be willing to accept like a bigger offer from a bigger school, or are you?
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. I mean, of course, I want to boost up Bryant and Stratton because this is like my baby now. But I want us to get out there more. I don't know if you guys know, we be on the buses, back of the bus, side of the bus. We need to be more on like TV. But I mean, that's the goal to get there. But if there's ever a position that's offer, that's getting me up the ladder.
Yeah. Just gotta explain that it's all love.
Yeah.
I'm coach.
It's
Oh, they know
It's
that.
always
business.
it's always what's better.
Right.
Always. You don't have no obligation to nobody but yourself.
Damn, man.
What you doing it for? You trying to curl?
Right.
Lame.
Then you shout them out on the interview, give them a little publicity when you're on TV.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank Brian and Stratton for giving me this opportunity to start.
Always.
We global now. That's
You can't never finish it first.
Yeah. Who was the nicest person you played against? I know you played against some dogs overseas, locally. Who was the one?
I will have to say Shaquita Smith. She went to McKinley. She transferred to Amherst. She ended up getting a Division I offer to Xavier University. But she ended up taking a school out in Cali. But she was the nicest I've played against, and still to this day we, cool, rock out. And I tell her all the time, like she taught me a lot. Just her hustle and her drive. She played against guys and demolished guys. You thought that I demolished you.
I don't want to see her. I don't want to see her.
You don't want to see her. Like, no, you don't want to see her. So if you don't know who Shaquita Smith is, look her up. She's great at what she does. She definitely could have went far. But yeah, Shaquita Smith.
Yeah, shout out to Quita, man.
Shout out to Sis.
Family.
Yeah, we are family.
I think you said shout out to Sid.
Yo, you silly, man. Nah, y'all, she's silly, man.
How would you describe your game?
The Suns.
Okay.
What's your game like, though? You had to give them the scouting report. You got like 3
when you
skills.
re-question the question.
You bring all credit to the
They hear it. They see it.
Trademark.
So how is my game?
Yeah, how would you describe it?
I'm quiet. I don't really talk a lot. I'm a hustle player. I can get to the basket. I can do it all. I'm not a one-dimensional player. Do I prefer to get to the basket more than I do shooting? Yeah. I have people at times tell me that I'm too selfless. I need to be selfish. Like sometimes I don't be as aggressive as I should have been. But yeah, I compare myself to like a Wyatt Leonard.
Ooh.
Not the silent assassin.
Yeah.
That's the real silent assassin right
Got
there.
everything.
Yo,
That's the term.
that's a killer right there.
You see him, he like in this over. So that's what she's telling y'all. She still got it.
She's on you quietly. Quietly, 35.
Five.
No, I actually had a quiet 30. I didn't even know I had a 35. Like I probably made like 7 in like the first half. And I mean not even including my, buckets to the basket. But yeah, second half it was different. They boxing one tight. So I mean I've had games like that where I was like, wow.
What's something like your favorite game?
My favorite is like when it's close. Like I don't know why. I think I focus better when it's like it's when pressure when the pressure is on, and I handle it well. I had a couple games where I stole the ball with like seconds left. Even at Hush Tech, we had a tournament for the classic. What's the classic called? Whatever classic it is, but it's at Damon College. We were down by a point. I got to steal against, I think it was Lakeshore. Went to the basket, game winner. At Buff State, had another one. Still went to the basket, foul, got down 2 free throws. So I don't know. I just work better when the games is close. It's just something like it really just everything is just quiet.
You locked in.
That's all I hear.
Put me in, coach.
Man, they call the time out everybody in the huddle. We know what's going on. Coach, you know to give it to. Just give her a screen, pin down.
But there were times where I did, I might have choked a little bit. But just, I don't know, the games like that is just better.
It happens to the
best. It happens to the best.
You gotta take the shot to choke.
Yeah.
just being able to take the shot is something a lot of people can.
Yeah. That's it for me though, man. I got anything else? Like you said, thank you, big sis, Britt, sis God.
Thank you.
Coach Perry, Brittnee.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, addressing it the right way, man. First women's coach in Bryant Stratton history, first African American coach in Bryant Stratton history. So y'all continue to put respect on her name, and y'all keep them on the lookout, man, for the next upcoming season. That's it. Thanks for coming.
Shit, I mean.
We'll see y'all next time.
Get my line.